channel. Tonight, I'm like, while I'm up, I am getting some work done. So this is recording for my YouTube channel because this is probably one of the most important topics that get requested from my YouTube channel. But I am double recording here on Facebook just so that you guys can get behind the scenes knowledge while I'm filming for my YouTube. So let's jump into it. So hello guys, how are you? And welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Genesis, and I want to spend some time talking to you guys about my Royal Prayer Journal and about just starting your own journal business. So I want to get into the first journal I did back in 2016, the second journal, which has been the most popular journal and is still selling, and then just some of my thoughts behind it, the branding that I did for it, what were my thoughts going into this, and the resources that I used. So let's first start with the journal that I did just to do it. So when I got started, I did not start with like the idea of like a prayer journal brand. The way I am is if I want something, I make it. So if I want to make my own mugs, I'll make them and ship them to my house. If I want to get a t-shirt that has something on it, I will make it, design it, and ship it to my house. That's just how I am. So when I was journaling, not really journaling, I'm not really much of a journaler. I'm more of a task, like writing down tasks, writing down like different thoughts that God gives me. But I'm not much of like a journal every day, but I do pray every day. And so what happened was, back in 2016, I basically, the way I am, like I have like my church notes, and then I have, like sermon notes, Bible study notes, and they were just all over the place. And so I was like, okay, there just needs to be one place for everything. And so what I decided to do was I decided to make a journal for it. Well, I decided to sell the journal. So this was the first journal that I did, and this was, again, this is the first one. And this is the front, this is the back, this is how thick it was, just so you can kind of get an idea. Let me show you the inside pages of it. So the way that I organized it, this is a half a year journal. Okay, so this is for 6 months. And people, they actually, by the time I wrote out the real branded prayer journal, people, they ordered this upcoming one for that one. So this was the first Royal Prayer Journal that I did. And again, it was designed and laid out over 6 months. So I broke it up into parts. These is what the daily pages looked like, because this is the old one. So basically, each page was a day. And I'm going to share the mistakes I made with this one, because I definitely made mistakes. And then there were areas for notes, for like, Sunday sermon teachings. And then it would go into the quote for the week with the word. And then it had a hello new week. And each week would have, you can write a quick encouragement to yourself, a declaration, like, upcoming tasks, and then prayer requests for personal and others. And again, I'm going to share with you guys because I made a lot of mistakes in this one. And I'm glad I did it, because when I came up with the second one that was branded and really, put together, there was a lot of thought behind it. And then it would go back into the days. So again, that's how basically it went. After every week, I had this section. After every week, there was a quote, a word, a new week, prayer requests, all that good stuff. So it came out to be, and I probably should let me pull up the details for you guys. So just in case you guys have specific questions, I can answer them for you. Because again, this is the thing a lot of people ask me for, well, how'd you do it? What was the idea behind it? That's what I'm going to share to you guys. Okay? Because again, people don't like to share information, and I'm the complete opposite. I like to help people because I know what it's like to not know. And then when you talk to people, they want to act like they don't know, or they'll tell you, well, sis, how'd you get it done? They're like, oh, I prayed about it. Prayer? Well, I mean, didn't you go somewhere? Didn't you use something? Oh, I just prayed about it. No. What did you use? And what can I use? Hey, guys, what can I use to accomplish this? So let's talk about the price points and how many pages the first one was. This internet does not want to work. how many pages the first one was, how many pages the second one was, and price points. Because I don't have all the details written in front of me, so I'm going to pull them up for you guys. Pray this internet decides it wants to get itself together for us, shall we? Because again, there were some major lessons, and I'm going to share these lessons that I learned and things that you should think about when you're designing journals, especially. Now, the journals I've designed are not spiral bound journals, and there's a reason why, because I didn't want spiral bound. I don't like spiral bound journals. I just don't. That is my personal desire. So that's why, even for the second one, I could have went spiral bound, but I did not want to go spiral bound. So let me pull up the price points per, how many pages, how much it was per, and again, I use Create Space through Amazon to print, and that's really what I use for all printing except this past one. When I decided to print Boss Builder in my latest book, I wanted to go outside, learn my lesson, and now we're having a printing disaster. But we'll be working all that out this week in the coming weeks. So let's talk about the price point. Seems like Create Space does not want to come up. Oh well. So this was the first one, right? Let's talk about the issues, and then hopefully my internet, not my internet, but my Create Space decides that it wants to come up, because it's acting right now like it doesn't want to come up. So the first one did not have a lot of thought. I'm going to be honest. It did not have a lot of thought. I did it because I wanted to do it. It wasn't where it was like, oh, okay, let me think about how many pages. Let me think about. But again, I'm glad I did it, because if I did not do that, then I would not be able to share with you guys some things that I promise you most people don't think about when creating their own journals. Okay, so let's talk about price point. I've printed a lot of stuff through here. Okay. So let's go through the first one. Oh, I forgot the first one is not even in here because I did not print this one through Create. I forgot. Yes, there are some mistakes in this one. So this one was created with Blurb. Duh. So let's talk about some mistakes I made. So I decided, let me log into Blurb so I can tell you guys how much this one was. So when I did this one through Blurb.com, and that was my first mistake. Blurb is great for like if you need like 1 or 2 orders, but even then it's great because, and this is Blurb.com. It's great because you can literally get something printed overnight, like literally upload and go straight to ordering within 5 minutes. However, it is so expensive. And it is just, in my opinion, especially for journals, it's just not what I would have used. But again, I was trying to look for something that would give it to me, and I didn't really know that much about CreateSpace at the time. I'm glad I'm learning. And even through Blurb, they do a lot of discounts, but I've always saved much more money through CreateSpace, even with their discounts. I always thought I was getting it for cheaper, but I really wasn't. So let me log into here, and hopefully I remember my password. It's been so long. I probably don't even remember my password, but I definitely want to get you guys. Give me a second. The information. Okay, I'm in. Let's see if I have my books. See if it's in here. Hopefully it is. Or maybe it's not. We'll see. Okay. Let's see. I can tell you guys how much it was. I'm probably not sure I can tell you guys the original price of the very first one because I just don't remember. It's somewhere. Well, anyway, I can tell you how much exactly the second one was, though. So again, but when I did this one, and I can tell you, I can tell you how much it costs. I can tell you how much it costs. So this is the hilarious part. It was like, I can tell you exactly. It was like $10 to get it printed. And I'm glad I remember this. So it was literally like $10 to get this one printed through Blurb. And if I would have went through Create Space, it would have been way cheaper. But I did not. And so that's why it cost me a lot more. And so I ended up having to sell it for a minimum of at least, I think it's like $25 or $30 on Barnes & Nobles for me to even get a profit. But it cost me $10 to print this. Ridiculous. Like, ridiculous. But again, it ended up being like 300 pages though. It was like at least 300 pages. And so there were a lot of things that I regret in printing this. And so let's go through this. Let's go through. As a matter of fact, let me go get my charger, guys, real quick. So that, because I didn't plug it in. Give me 1 second. Okie dokie. So there were a lot of, like I said before, mistakes. Number one, I chose the wrong platform. I should not have chose Blurb. But again, I didn't know what I was doing, and I was trying to just find something that I could use to do my prayer journal. Now, when I decided to actually pay attention and figure out, okay, what I was printing through, that's when I got to Create Space by Amazon. Now, there are other ones. There's Lulu, Ingram Spark. Oh, grand, awesome. Give me a second, guys. There's something I want to... Okay, cool. So, so when I did the first, number one, it was way too many. There's some things you really have to think about. The first mistake I made with this one was that, number one, I chose the wrong printing platform. Not choose Blurb ever again. Just my personal opinion. I did not think about layout. So when you are designing journals, workbooks, you want to think about layout. And this is something I have told many people who inbox me like, hey, how did you do this? Da, da, da. Think about layout. Now remember, the first one I did, I just wanted to make one. So it worked, right? But when it came to, okay, what were the mistakes? Layout was a big one because it was half a year, 300 pages for half a year. So if I did a full year journal, it would have been 600 pages. I wasn't thinking about layout, right? So one of the mistakes I made was every page had a day. Every page, and that was the reason why when I got to laying out, I was like, this is a lot of pages. I was like, wait, what? It was only for half a year. And then when people would tell me, they would say, hey, I love it, I'm going to buy it, but I do wish it was for a full year. And I was like, how am I going to fit a full year in this journal? And it was 600 pages, for just, it was 300 pages just for half a year. So you got to think about space. Sometimes we're thinking about what we want, and you can still get what you want, but you may have to lay it out differently, right? So, so let me tell you some of the biggest mistakes I made. So of course it had that. Then at the end of each week, I divided out weekly. So it was fine, but it just wasn't condensed, right? So it's very important that when you're thinking about layout, I honestly say lay out either a week or a whole month, before you even design it out, sketch out on a piece of paper. That's what I did for my second one. I sketched out with a piece of paper what each page had and what was on each page before I even designed it. Now, I design everything. I do have a background in graphic design, so everything you see here has been designed by me. That is an extra skill that has saved me a lot of money. I designed the website, the banners, branding, all that, which we're going to go through. But you can hire a graphic designer if you don't have those skills. I do say that for some things, you do not want to DIY. I have graphic design skills, have Adobe InDesign, it has helped me. But if you do not have graphic design skills, do not. If you're talking about something that's going to go to market and it has a lot of branding to it, do not try to DIY unless it comes out, unless you feel like, okay, I can really knock this thing out. But I would not DIY doing a journal. Okay, especially one like these where you're trying to sell to a whole bunch of people. You can do the DIY for your personal stuff, but do not DIY this, okay? So you want to lay out the pages. And the reason why I also say about not doing DIY is that it is a major headache. It's a major headache when you're trying to do like margins and layout, right? So when I'm laying out the journals, right, like when I'm even producing these kinds of things, you have to look at the margin spaces for cutoff. So when these things go to print, they're going to cut out, like they're chopping paper and then putting they're basically, cutting and all that and putting it into like basically to be bound. So you have to know your margins. Create Space gives you those. When I did my first one, which is this one, I didn't know anything about margins, bleeds, cuts, trims. I was like, what is this? So you have to make sure that you're researching everything so that you know what you're doing. And this is why, again, I say do not DIY, because you'll end up with a whole bunch of mess you won't know. So let's talk about what I ended up doing. So back in 2016, I did this journal. And then I said to myself, people are loving this journal. People are still buying it off of Amazon. And I was like, okay, let me really step it up. Let me do something really amazing. And so I took a step back and I decided to brand Royal Prayer Journal and actually make it into something that was an experience, which you see behind me with the banner. So I decided to do a couple of things, and this is very, very important, and I hope that you guys are able to really gain something from this. And so what I did was I figured out, okay, what problem? I went back to how I coach people, right? And when I coach people, I tell them when you bring a product to market, you want to think about, who you are designing for, who you are making this product for. When I made this first one, it was because, again, I wanted to make one for myself. Now that it was actually, obtaining money and I was making money from it and a good amount of money, I said, okay, I need to really think about this like it's a business, like I would do with anything else. So what problem am I solving, and am I targeting a certain community with a certain look? So when you're making a journal, do not just make a journal because you want to make a journal. If you want to make your own journal, you can make your own journal for yourself and you journal out of it. Awesome. But if you're making one and you're trying to make a business out of it, there are some things you need to think about. The first one is, who wants it? Why would this journal stick out amongst all the different prayer journals? And if we could be honest, most people will journal out of a composition notebook. So it has to be something that really stands out and sets itself apart. It may be what you include in it, how it's designed, how it looks, but you want to make sure that it stands out, and not in a bad way, but in a good way. So I took a step back. And I really introduced everything the right way. The logo, I had the look, but more importantly, I had an overall purpose with it. And so when I introduced the Royal Prayer Journal, I introduced it with the tagline of helping you pray every day. And the whole purpose of the Royal Prayer Journal from my brand aspect was that I had noticed that many women, prayer was becoming something monotonous. It wasn't becoming something that was fun. Prayer is actually glamorous. It's beautiful. It is chic. And so I decided to go with the Royal Prayer Journal from the idea of like a fashionable, trendy, chic, prayer is trendy, prayer is chic kind of angle. And so I made sure that spoke when it came to everything, from the website to the actual book, how it looked, even how we did our social media. I made sure that everything had the same message. Prayer is glamorous, it's chic, it's powerful, it's bold. So again, when I designed everything, and not just, of course, not just design, but even in the way that I conveyed the message that came across. So let me show you guys how the second one came out. So because I knew too that, I wanted there to be diversity and also inclusion, I decided to do 2 skin shades. So this actually was the second prayer journal that came out. It came out in 2 skin shades with 2 different fashionistas. You can have Zoe, which is the dark skin, and then you can have Sophia, which is the light skin. So there's a big difference. If you look at the first one, it's the first one. You look at the second one, there's a big difference. The first major difference you can see is that it's actually smaller. The first one is much bigger than the second one. So this is how they are standing side by side. As you can see, this one is smaller. You'll also see that it is not as thick It actually, yeah, it's not as thick. It's a little bit smaller. If you see it, the difference, but it's a little bit smaller as far as size when it comes to amount of pages. So these I use Create Space for, as you can see, and I am in love with my journals. Like, I love my journals. Let me just tell you, I love my journals. And what I love about them, number one, was not only did I take my time to make sure they were branded, but there was a lot of thought put into these journals. And so it made the release, it made the branding even more special. And I'm also going to share with you some secrets on how I made sure I made profit from it. Not just a little bit of chump change. I'm making some money from these things, okay? And again, it's about purpose and profit. So you want to have something beautiful that God set in your heart to put out, but it also should return back some profit to take care of all the expenses you had to put into it. So again, these are the two journals. This is the front, and these are the back. You'll see a big difference. We have here a YSL bag. We have Dolce & Gabbana, mascara, these heels. I mean, I made sure these things were beautiful. Okay, absolutely gorgeous. And again, the biggest thought for it was, well, that was what I was conveying though. I was telling people that prayer is gorgeous. It is glamorous. So the book that people need to journal in, it should make you want to run. It should make you want to go over to that thing and say, it's time for my glamorous prayer life. Let me talk to God today in my gorgeous journal. That's what I wanted women to have. So let's look at the inside, because there were some differences. The first thing was I stopped doing it by splitting up into weeks. So this is actually a full year journal. So this shows you how much. So this one, it was half a year. I fit a whole year into this one. So there was a big difference, and I'm going to show you why. So what I did with this one is I thought about, okay, it's 12 months. What I did was each of their prayer pages, there's 2 instead of 1. So on 2 pages, you're getting 4 days already. See that? And what I did in each page, it has date, time, and then your time with God and then your meditation scriptures you put into these boxes. Okay? The beginning, though, let's talk about the whole layout. So the beginning of the book, it works like a full prayer journal. So you put your name in here, this Royal Prayer Journal belongs to, and then the next page are all your upcoming events. So it actually works like almost a real journal, like a planner almost. So in the front, I have enough pages for an entire year. There literally are 12 pages for upcoming events. And they looks like this. So they can put the what, the date and the time and the location. And there's 12 pages. And again, the whole point of the Royal Prayer Journal is that this is about your spiritual life. So you're not putting everything in here. You're just putting your spiritual activities. So if there's anything happening at your church or a concert, anything spiritual goes in here. It all goes in here. And then the next thing after that is the prayer wall. I put 12 pages of the prayer wall. So there's literally a page for each month, and it looks like this, as you can see. So for myself and for others. And there is a page. So there's 12. So that's how I cut it down. Instead of me doing every week something, no, I cut it down. And then the other thing that I did was, here's the major thing that I left out. In this journal, I did not include, and I could have, but I decided not to because it would have really ran up the pages, but I did not include note-taking for sermons. And the reason why is because after talking to a lot of people, they always bring a notebook for services. At first, I was like, they need to be all kept together. And I was like, you know what? No, something has to be sacrificed because I cannot have all of these pages in this book. So what I did was, instead of me doing pages for people to take notes for church, because some people don't. Some people, because their church offers it on podcasts or they can listen to sermons, they don't take notes. They just continuously listen to the sermon, from the podcast or whatever. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to switch them out. Instead, I included every 30 days. I broke it up. Basically, I inserted some encouragement. So I wrote whole pages of like teaching in my journal. So I think it's like I want to say every 30 days, they get a different teaching that I wrote for them with a passage focus and then the encouragement, and they just keep on journaling. I like them because you don't really know when one's going to pop up. It's kind of like you just keep on journaling, and then, hey, oh, look, I get a little encouragement from my Royal Prayer Journal. So that's what I did instead. So again, I condensed this down, and this is for a whole year. So this was the journal. And again, it came in 2 colors. This is Zoe, and this is Sophia. And this is the way that it will stay for the second collection I'm launching. So, and let's talk about the branding, the marketing, and all that. Well, you kind of see the branding, and you'll see how these elements match with the elements behind here. This is the banner the X banner that I purchased. And let's talk about the details, how much it costs, how many pages, all that. So this one, it costs $3.49 to print. So that's the expense on my part. It costs $3.49 to print. So it was a total of 220 pages. Ooh. So it was a total of, hold on, give me guys a second. Okay, so it was a total of, again, 220 pages. Okay, 220 pages. It was a 7.5 by a 9.25. 7.5 by 9.25. Again, let's talk about some ways that I saved money. Okay, let's talk about money, how I saved money. Number 1, the inside is black and white. Okay, it costs more to print in color. Duh. Okay, so what I did is I made it still look chic, but the inside is black and white. The outside is in color. Let's be smart about your coins. So it cost me $3.49 to print. I sold them for $25, and now they're being sold for $30. I can sell for whatever one's up. So, and I think that they're well worth it. I think they're well designed, well put in. I can charge whatever I desire. And what I love about it too, though, is that they're worth it. This is not an average prayer journal. Okay, this thing is well designed. So that's the reason why I'm charging that much, because I feel like it's well worth it. Plus, it's for a whole year. So if you think about it, $30 for a whole year of prayer to keep all your prayer notes in. And the cool thing about it is that I'm releasing different collections throughout the year. So this one was released, and the next one that's coming out is an aqua collection, different characters with different names, but every collection I release has an African American woman and then a lighter skinned woman or Caucasian woman, because it doesn't not necessarily Caucasian, but lighter skin, because I want to have at least 2 shades, because I want people to see themselves when they're journaling. That's really important for me, is that, when someone buys a journal, they can see themselves with it. So again, it cost me $3.49 to print. Again, I'm selling it for $25 to $30. It's listed at $30 right now. Okay, but I believe it's $25 on my website plus shipping, which comes out to be, I think, $30. So let's talk about some of the marketing that I did, because there are some extra things I did for my launch. The first major thing that I did to make sure I had a successful launch was I did not start branding when the product was done. I started the Instagram and the Facebook page well before I even released the journals. And so we had about 3,000 people. It's like 3,000 something on the Instagram page, and a couple hundred, I think it's like 100 and something on the Facebook. And so when I released the journals, I had an email list ready. I had people ready to buy. So I did not brand when I had everything and be like, oh, hey, y'all, I got a journal. I learned that the first time. I grew the brand. I projected it. You guys can go over to Instagram and look for Royal Prayer Journal, and you will see what the heck is that? What the world? I don't know what that, guys. I don't know what that was. Anyway, a fly got it or something. So again, that's what I use to, that caught me off guard. That's what I use to really promote. And again, I'm all about passion and profit. So you don't start marketing something just when it drops. You start out well before. Try to give yourselves at least 6 months of promotion time. I don't know what that was. Try to give yourself 6 months of promotion time to market the product. Okay, because again, you don't just want to drop a product. You want to make money from it, and you have to give people enough time to get excited. They don't get excited the day of. Unless, but I mean, even think about movies. They drop trailers to get you excited to know what's coming so that when you do go to the movies, you know what to expect. And so I did the same for the Royal Prayer Journal. I promoted it well ahead of time, started collecting emails. We had a website with a landing page to collect emails. I was not playing any games because, again, you need to come correct. When you start a business, you've got to come correct. Get the people ready, get them hyped. We were dropping features. We were showing the boxes. And so for the release, and I'm contemplating this if I want to do it for the next one, we released VIP boxes as well. And I got branded boxes, and they look like this. I'm going to show you guys what the whole box looks like. I probably should have had one ready for this, but I didn't. So I got these boxes from Packlane, Packlane. And if you're watching on YouTube, I will provide those links for you. And so in a nutshell, I'm just going to kind of show you a basic version of the box, okay? Basically, the box looks like this when it's all folded up, right? So it's a fully designed box that I designed, because again, I'm designing everything, and has this, I love the print that I use on the boxes. For the whole design. And you'll see that this is the same print that's on the journal at the bottom. It's the rug. It's on the journal on the bottom. So it's the same print here. And in these boxes, we released about, I think, was it 50? I forgot how many. I think it was like 50 boxes. I released about 50 of these things. And so, thank you. This is why I love Jalissa. She makes sure y'all got all the deets. So in the boxes, we put the Royal Prayer Journal along with, you get the journal. We put out, you got an eyeshadow brush. You got some people got like sleep masks. Some people got soap. It kind of depended upon what we put inside. They also got a copy of my book, Faith and Glass Slippers. They got I think I'm missing something else. It was like one more thing they got. But basically it was like a box of goodies. Oh, and they got not custom, but they got like these really, really like classic salted caramels. And they're like these long things of caramel. And so literally we had two things. So the boxes were $50. I believe they were $49.99 or just straight $50. The boxes were $50. And the journals, if you just got the journal, was $25. So for $25 more, you got the custom box with the journal and all the goodies. And we really liked it because it was something that was special. You also got an encouragement on it on the other side of the page that included the information of what was included. So it was almost like my little dabble into like almost like a subscription box. I really enjoyed the boxes. The only thing is, from me doing it this time is, I wish I would have procured the items ahead of time. I kind of was last minute with the boxes as far as what I was going to put inside of them, because I was still trying to figure out like, okay, what should be inside. And I could have really pre-planned that a while ago, but I just didn't. But the boxes were sent out and the people really enjoyed them. So yeah, but you got to really make sure that you have an expense budget for how much, you want to go into the box. So my whole goal was like $10 worth of stuff. I kind of went over, but, I wanted, again, with the custom box, the box itself came out to be like $4 by itself. I think it was like $3 something per box. And I got 30 of them. I got 50 of them. I got 50. So yeah, it was definitely 50 because I said 50 for 50. So it was 50 people that ordered the boxes. I believe it was 50. It was 50. It was 50. Yeah, it was 50. I'm sorry, I'm trying to confirm in my head. But I will say this. I ordered an extra bulk because I was doing vending, and I don't know why I ordered them. So I got some extra boxes left. I think I'm going to use them for my later vending events as well. I really like the idea of the box plus the journal plus the extra stuff. Business cards. They look like this. This is what the business cards look like. It has Zoe and Sophia on them. And this is what the back looks like. And I did make a marking mistake. I'll tell you what I did. This is them right here. What I made the mistake of was this text message thing. It started out great. Let me just show you all what that looks like. It started out great, but it was just too much to do. So basically, the whole idea was you're supposed to get an encouraging text message a day. It started out great. Then I dropped the ball. I was like, this is just too much to do. So the problem is that they're on every card. And when I package, like when they ship from me exclusively, they get a card. And people are still texting that number, and the keyword is inactive. So that was one major mistake that I did, but people really like the idea of getting encouragement. So now I'm going to focus more for the second collection on like encouragement via email, but I'm going to have to get a new batch of business cards unless I want to reactivate the keyword and send monthly text messages. But it was just a lot. It was just a lot. It was just too much. So let's talk about shipping. So you can ship right from CreateSpace per order. So if you don't want to, auto sign, what do you call them? What's the hand sign it or whatever. There is a way to automate it. Yeah, I could have pre-scheduled it, but it was still too much. It was just to literally to put out daily text messages plus social media content plus email marketing. Like, no, I'm not. I'm sorry. It's just I'm not. I couldn't. It's just too much. It was way too much. Again, I can automate it, but it's just only so much I'm going to automate. And I feel like because, again, I have a lot of other things that I do, it was too much at this current time. Now, maybe when I, get an assistant per brand that I have, Jesus, then, maybe we'll talk about that. But, so for CreateSpace, I can ship them out right from CreateSpace, and that's actually what I did for a lot of the orders. So I just want to kind of talk about how much it is per journal, like how much the cost point was. Now, again, it's all about how many you're shipping. So for one per journal, again, it costs $349 per. Costs $349 per. So that's the expense already for the book, and then it costs $359 to ship the book. So you're already looking at pretty much $8 for the shipping plus the book, okay? So it's $8. So if I'm charging $25 plus shipping, which is $30, so you're already looking at, okay, 22. So that's $22 left in profit, right? After everything. So again, that's what you're looking at. So that's really not that bad. $20 per journal. That's really not bad at all. So, but again, that's if you want to ship directly from CreateSpace. Now, for those of you who want to order a ton and then ship out, you have two options. You can use a flat rate. You have FedEx. I use USPS from time to time, and I use the priority mail ones. I love the padded envelopes. I also love the ones that they're the same size, but they're not padded. They're just like a cardboard almost envelope. The flat rate is pretty much like $6. They get them within 2 to 3 days. However, you can also get custom. So I ordered these from Uline. They look like this. They're just regular black mailers. And I really like these because I put the sticker on top of them. And I just slid them inside. They look like this. Oh, and I could show you guys the tape. I do not know where I got it. I got tape from Sticker Mule, and I wish I could show you guys. Let me see if I can find it. Give me a second. Let's see if I can find it because I stopped using it. Let me see if I can find it for y'all. So it's somewhere. I forgot where it's at because I stopped using it. But I also ordered some tape from Sticker Mule, but I stopped using it because it was kind of unnecessary. It was customized packaging tape that you can use, but it's really best for like boxes. So it didn't really work so well for me. But again, these are really the basics. Now let me talk about what you can use to design them and things like that. So for the first one, I designed this one off of InDesign by Adobe, okay? You can get it off Adobe Creative Suite. It's $49, I want to say, for the whole suite per month. It's $9.99 for just Photoshop. But you're going to need, you can't make this in Photoshop because you need to duplicate pages. And Photoshop is like one page or one design at a time. And remember, a lot of journaling or designing a journal is a lot about replicating pages and just mastering layout. So InDesign by Adobe is really best. You can also use Microsoft Word, Pages for Mac, those kind of softwares where you can like work with multiple pages. So with this one, I designed the cover off of Pixelmator for Mac, because when you make a cover for any type of book or journal, you're not just making like one page. You literally are designing the whole thing, including the spine. So when I designed it, it was like this. The whole front, middle, and spine was like one file, like this. So literally the file was this long. Okay, so you don't just design the front, the spine, the back. It's all one file. And that's the reason why for me, I design the covers usually last after I've designed the inside of the book, because you have to know how many pages to make the spine. The spine is as thick as how many pages you have. Now, CreateSpace, they will provide for you a template in, I believe it's PSD and PDF. I think that's what I got it in. I know I got it in PSD. And you can download them, but you have to put in how many pages it is, because then it will adjust the spine according to how many pages you're designing for. That's why you got to lay out the book first, so you know how many pages will this be, and then you can get the cover design, because you know how thick the spine is, which is very, very important. Now, to promote and market them, I also use mock-ups. So mock-ups are basically digital renderings in 3D format to show people what the journal looks like. So I'm going to show you guys real quick. Actually, I can pull it up on here. So I'm going to make myself smaller, really tiny. And I'm going to pull up the Instagram for Real Print Journal. Give me a second. Oh, you know what? I forgot. On Facebook, I'm streaming. I'm streaming from OBS for you guys? No. So you guys can't even see it, because I'm streaming from, like directly from OBS. Darn it. So y'all won't be able to see it. Now on OBS, they'll be able to see it on my YouTube, but let me show you guys on here. So this is what the mock-ups looked like when I had got them done. So y'all can see that. So probably can't even tell. There you go. So there you go. So that's what a 3D mock-up looks like. That actually was not the physical book. This is the mock-up. So it's a digital mock-up that I got done to show people what they were going to order before we even show them the physical, like a physical picture. So you can get these mock-ups from places like graphicburger.com, Creative Market. Now, in order to do them, though, you have to have Photoshop. Now, Photoshop costs you, again, like $9.99 per month. But you can do as many mock-ups. You can do mock-up banners, mock-up T-shirts. It's well worth it to do some mock-ups and, graphic design in general. But that's what I use to show people the product beforehand, because again, what I did was I pretty much opened the store. Yes, thank you, Graphic Burger. And then you can also creativemarket.com. That's where you can get tons, but they're not free. Graphic Burger is free. You can get free fonts, free mock-ups, free backgrounds. It's a great creative place. But Creative Market is like the ultimate. You can get everything. There's some cheap stuff you can get. They offer free stuff every week, so that's really, really dope. As long as you have an account, you can access their free goods every week. They drop out free fonts per week, free backgrounds, free creative. It's a creative's dream. So, like I said before, to show people what they were ordering, because the way I did it was basically we gave people time to shop, and then we closed the shop down. And then we would process orders, and then really our shop is technically, it's not really closed, but you can order like the last couple things, but we're about to roll out the next line. So I did do it in collection format. So we called these the Maroon Oh My collection, because literally everything is like a maroon red kind of scheme, right? So we called it the Maroon Oh My collection. The next collection is going to be aqua based. I'm not calling it aqua, but that's pretty much what we're working on, because it's like an all blue type of mermaid type of feel to it. Very aqua, very fairy tale-ish, right? So we did it in the collection. We got people really hyped to buy and drop. And again, I got a lot of people who did not know me. So I got a lot of strangers, but the way that I got the strangers was, one of the things that I did was I found people, online, different accounts that people follow, similar brands that matched ours. They weren't journal companies, but it may be like ministries that were targeting women that we feel like, people that would like our journals, and we would interact with them. We would like their stuff. We would talk to them, and it was work. It was work because it was just me. It was work. But guess what? I made a lot of sales. So it is worth it. And I really love it because women literally contact me all the time in the inbox like, hey, Gigi, I'm using my Royal Prayer Journal. I've been using it every day. My mother uses her prayer journal. She uses this one faithfully. She has this one, and she also has the new one, and she uses them both. I don't know how I guess she goes from day to day, but I see her all the time, and she writes her notes in it, her stuff in it, and it's really great. So again, your journals may not be for everybody, but you have to target who it's for and use that. So the banner that you see, which is right here, this is an X banner. So let me just show you how it works. And it only cost me $69.99, and I got it from stickersbanners.com. Stickersbanners.com. They are amazing. Probably one of the best places to get a banner from. So let me show you guys about this, on this side, about this banner. So basically, it's an X banner. And the way an X banner works, let me just show you the back. Show you what the X banner looks like. It's literally, it looks like this. So let me, so y'all can see it. So the way it works is that it almost forms an X, right? See how it forms an X? But this literally, to me, is better than a retractable banner. And I'm going to show you why. Because there are hooks right here. Now, you probably can't see it. Probably have to bring it closer. But there's hooks at the top. So you literally can take the hook off. We'll take it off so you can see it. See right there? And I can take this down, and I can put a new banner on it. So it's very, when I tell you it's like, worth the money. It is so worth the money, and the X stretches to kind of fit your banner. What I love about these again is that, and this is not just for journals, this is for any company, business. The banners, you can take them off. So if I want to order, let's say I got one stand, but I want to order like 5 different banners, I can interchange this banner for another banner. So like when I do the Aqua collection and I want to, promote the Aqua collection, I'm not going to order another stand, I'm going to order another banner that's going to have, it's going to still say Royal Prayer Journal, but it's going to have the Aqua characters, because this is the Maroon on My collection. And then what I'm going to do is, when I start vending and I have the Maroon on My and the Aqua collection, I'm going to have one banner, this one with the Maroon on My, and I'm going to have another X banner that has the Aqua collection on it to show them the 2 different types that we have. So I really like this. Again, it's really cheap. It only cost me $65 or $69.99 to print these, and that included this, that, and the shipping. They offer free same-day shipping if you order by 2 p.m. Eastern time. I think it's 2 p.m. Pacific though. Yeah, I think it's Pacific. Specific. No, it's Pacific time. So I really like them. Again, they're really fast. They have 3 warehouses. They have one in New Jersey, one in Georgia, I think, and one in California. And when I tell you they're fast. And what I really like about them too is that if you have any issues, you can call them and they pick up. They will respond to your questions. And when I tell you they're fast, they're fast. And if you live near their warehouse, you can go pick them up. So I live in Delaware, so their warehouse in New Jersey is only an hour away from me. Okay, so I have been using them for every reason, for our church, the family business, the school. I got another X banner printed for the school, and they had that thing done and ready for pickup it was like the next day. I was like, what? I was like, because again, this same day shipping. So if you get it in by 2, they're going to ship that bad boy out. I was like, so I will forever be a fan of theirs. And again, they're awesome, amazing people. When you go to the warehouse, the people are so nice. It's really nice. So again, that's who I use. And again, it's $65.99. You really can't. It's like $65, $69.99. You can't beat the price, especially because it's free shipping and how fast they ship. If you're in a bind, you need something in a week, get them. But make sure, you know, you have like 7 days in advance. So, yeah, so the boxes, pack lane, and the inside is not printed, but they just started offering inside printing shipping. Inside printing. So at first they weren't, but now they are. So if I wanted like to customize the inside, I now can do that. So again, pack lane, stickersandbanners.com. This one was Blurb. That's a no-go. Create Space. That's a yes-go. So Create Space. I got the packaging. These are from Uline. Sorry. I don't know why I said Four-Line. Uline. The letter U and then line.com. I actually got one of their promo magazines from them. I'm like an old person. Listen, I look at the magazines that they ship to my house, and I read the stuff. I'm really big into their catalogs. So they have everything from packaging to bags. They have literally everything. They have everything that you would ever use for packaging. So I really like them. And again, this one is bubble wrap. And it has a sticky, you know, like little seal thing. So you just, once you throw it inside, pull it off, and then you close it. Okay? And then the other alternative is if you use like the USPS shipping, flat rate. If it fits, it ships. This is basically $6, but they're gonna get it in 2 to 3 days because it's priority mail. So there's that, you know. But then if you ship through this, it's not if it fits, it ships. They're gonna go by weight. So you need, you know, what I tell people is go to the post office. This is a little hefty, and see how much it would cost. And remember, when you're not doing something like this and they're gonna weigh it, it's also gonna be, you're gonna be charged by weight and distance. So that's where they'll get you, you know. So to ship down the street may cost $1. To ship to California may cost you $25. And you know, if you're selling your journal for $30, oh, you're in the red, okay? So you have to watch that. So that's pretty much it. Again, the cards, I got these printed at Staples. I love Staples. What I love about Staples is that they do same-day printing for their business cards. So two-sided is going to be $14.99. One-sided is $9.99, okay? And they do same day. As long as you get it in, I believe the cutoff time, I want to say it's 2 as well. I'm not sure. I always do it in the morning if I need to get the same day. But if you have a local Staples, you are blessed. So I know Vistaprint is awesome and they're cheap. What I say is get your first stack from Staples and get your main stack from Vistaprint.com, because that way by the time the Vistaprint comes, you know, you'll be good. But I go to, whenever I'm first launching something, I get my cards printed at the local Staples. And again, I love them. Oh, let me show you on this one. I just love it because the branding, all the branding matches. That was big for me. Like, you see this? The journal, the card, the banner, the box, everything matches. That was really big for me. Everything needs to match. Everything needs to match. And then if you're trying to look for inspiration from the Instagram, go to Instagram.com/Royal Prayer Journal, and you'll see how we made all of the social media posts were branded too. And it all fit the branding, all fit the whole idea of maroon, you know, pinks, creams. It all fit that shebang back there. So again, hopefully this gave you some ideas on, you know, what do I need to do when it comes to having a journal for my business or starting a journal company. Hopefully I give you some insight. If you have any questions, I'm here to help. And I'm honest with that. A lot of you guys know who are my Facebook friends. I help people. Okay, I will not turn you away unless you have a really, really dumb question. Like, what is a journal? Not going to answer that one, okay? But if you do want to learn, you know, how, okay, just what do I need to do, what I need to use, try to use this video as your main resource and then ask me questions, you know, after you kind of figure it out. Again, you need to map out your journal. You know, map it out. How many, you know, what am I trying to do with this journal? What are the sections that it needs? How does it need to look? Who is it for? I told someone that inboxed me about this, and I told them, you know, you need to figure out who it's for to figure out what needs to be in it. You know, so when I said, okay, this journal needs to be some women who prayer for them is glamorous. It's an awesome experience. They love to pray. They're prayer warriors. So prayer warriors like to pray for other people. So I made sure I put a prayer wall with there. Prayer warriors, people love to pray. They're active in their churches. So I have a little upcoming event section. Prayer warriors like to be encouraged. So I had little sections where they got encouragement. I also figured out, okay, should it be for half a year, full year? I listened to feedback. People said full year. My first one was half a year. They did not like that. So I adjusted and changed it. And also too is don't try to be perfect with your first product. Guys, let me tell you something. And I've heard this from top CEOs, people who I look up to. They've always said that they've always laughed at their first product. They've always laughed at their first product because it's your testing ground. If you don't test it, you won't know what people like, what they don't like. If I would have never done my first journal, I would have never known what to put in my second journal and how to brand it, how to position it, how to make it look the right way. I also wouldn't have taken out more time to say, okay, hey, I need to build up my community first on social media. I need to gather up emails, then I need to drop it. My first one, I didn't do that, but I learned my lesson, right? But for a lot of people, sometimes they don't accomplish stuff because you're trying to fit everything into your first product. You're like, oh, it needs this, and it needs this too, and it needs this, and it needs this too. Guess what? Figure out what are the best things that it needs, and then work on the other things coming later. But don't try to fit the whole world in your journal because it's not for the whole world. It's just for a particular subject group of people, and there are a ton of people, I'm sure, in that niche that you want to target. Just make sure there's enough. But for me, it targeted, and I also made sure that there was one for women who have darker skin tones and women who have lighter skin tones, right? So I didn't have to worry about, I need to make sure that all my journals have all skin types. Let's split it up, right? So I made it easier for myself. I wasn't trying to stress myself out. There's one if you chocolate, there's one if you vanilla, okay? And guess what? It brings everybody together. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you gained some insight, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. See you guys later. Oh, wait, hold on.